This guy wanted to pick a fight with me. Now, as old as I am, he says I'm an OG. OG, old gangster. And the man could see my age. The man could see my age. And then the guy was telling us a story about he was on a level 3 yard. He was on a level 4 yard in prison. He was on a level 3 yard in prison, but they won't let him on a level 2 yards. So he said, "Do you know why?" And this guy, he walked up to my face and said, "Because I'm a killer. I'm a killer." And he actually said to me, "I'll kill you in a minute. I'll stab you in a minute." Now that, now you tell I had to, you know something, it startled me, him saying that. Now see, I was kind of caught off guard that time because I'm talking to the man in the wheelchair, I'm talking to his sister, and as I said, they make their livelihood by, you know, by asking people on the freeway entrance for money or in front of a liquor store. I was caught off guard because normally I don't be around people I don't know.
KCRW's Eclectic 24, the all-music channel from KCRW.com.
Why do I want to know how tough he is? You know, I told him, I said, "Why don't you go join the Army if you're a killer?" He laughed at that and shook his head. He don't want to join the Army because he know he'll get. Now if he's a macho man, if he's a killer, that's what I asked him. I said, "Why don't you join the Army? The Army needs people like you." He laughed a little bit and shook his head.
From Yewan Shin.
Sharing music we love all around the world.
Here's the latest.
And the man that died, his name was Percy. His name was Percy, a large man, you know, and he was, as I said, a diabetic. And what he would do, even though he would eat good food, but he would also eat a lot of fast food. Mm-hmm. And he loved sweets. And you know, too many donuts. As a matter of fact, I say too many donuts, too much pastry. He laid in his bed for 8 days, and he wouldn't let my Jewish friend call the doctor or call the paramedics.
Why not?
And because he didn't believe in hospitals. He didn't believe in hospitals. And then another one of my black friends had told him a fictitious story about, you know, well, if you go to the hospital and they think you don't have any medical insurance and they think that you're homeless, you know, what they'll do, they'll do something to you and just pass you away real quick. So he laid there for 8 days, and finally he submitted for my Jewish friend to call the paramedics. And the paramedics came and they took him to the hospital, and he died. As a matter of fact, he died a few hours or a short time later. He died, you know, because the paramedics came back to the bridge and told my Jewish friend that your friend had died.
Vermont, Sam in Baltimore, Maryland, and Sharmina in Buckingham, Texas.
When you walk past these stores, if you see 2 or 3 or 4 people grouping and you don't recognize them, if you don't recognize the people, it's best to keep on going. It's best to keep on going if you don't recognize the people. Don't even stop to go inside the store. No, my friend, this is not a perfect neighborhood. It's not a perfect neighborhood.
He calls himself Blitz the Ambassador. He was born and raised in Ghana.
So, you were a cowboy?
Yeah. Real bull rider. Midnight Cowboy. My street name was my bull rider name. Yeah. I got interested in it after my family stuff had been around. Being born in Mexico, I was raised around Calvin horses anyway, you know, and it was such a thrill that I thought to try to master a little 6-second ride that was hellacious and so deadly. You know? I look back at it now and I see how many loose screws that I actually have in my head to even want to talk me into it. So I went from that and I went back into the bareback racing, you know, tried that for a while. It was less dangerous. It was such a fleeting honor. You get back out with all this shit on you with no broken jaw, you know, your knee and shit dislocated, your fingers looking a little screwy and stuff. Yeah.
Well, how many years, Charles, were you riding bulls?
5.
5 years?
Yeah.
5 years riding
Yeah.
bulls. 5 years riding bulls.
One thing about being the type of person I've always been, thank you Jesus for that, I've been able to deal and survive in any type of situation I've been in, you know. Yeah. Got a roof over my head, got a little something to eat, I have change of clothes, you know, 65 cents, you know, laying on my night counter.
As a matter of fact, it seemed like every corner that I walk past, I could tell somebody, yeah, there's been a homicide here, there's been a homicide there, there's been a homicide there. So even when it gets dark, I'm kind of a little bit fearful. I'm not really fearful, but I mean, I used to call it. Here's a guy, here's a man probably he appeared to be maybe in his, I'd say 35, 38, a Mexican guy. He had just got off of work, I found out. He went to the liquor store, he bought a 24-ounce can of Budweiser. He saw me talking to the man in the wheelchair. And he started the conversation. He started the conversation with the man in the wheelchair. Well, that's, you know, he shook his hand, and then he shook my hand. But during the course of the conversation, which was about a half hour, I sensed, and he was talking about. Now he showed us all of his tattoos. Now. He showed us all of his tattoos. This guy was putting on the parade. I've seen birds do that. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere, maybe on TV, or I've seen it in real life. I've seen it in real life because I take care of about 40 to 60 birds. I say anywhere from 25 birds up to 40, sometimes 60 birds, you know. I take care of them. I feed them. And I observe the birds. And the male bird has a habit of serenading the female bird. And this Mexican guy was actually, what he was doing, he was actually showing us the tattoos on his arms, showing us the tattoos on his legs, you know, making them I don't know what you call it. He was making those poses, you know, making those flex poses. You know how you make flex poses, you know how the muscle men do, making the flex poses. He making poses. He wasn't that tall, but he had a good little size on him though. He making those flex poses, showing us his tattoos on his arms, the tattoos on his legs. He turned around and showed tattoos on his back. And said he had just got through doing 5 years. 5 years straight. But thank God he's doing roofing work now.
In the last 6 years, what it says is that those countries really are no longer trusting the major paper currencies, and specifically the US dollars.
Some countries, including China, have called for the creation of a new international currency, but Ray doubts that most. More accurately,
This talk program says, now if every American is supposed to have a nice white house, a 2-car garage, and a chicken on the pot, we're not getting it. If anybody's getting all this, it's the United States government. The United States government is getting the American dream.